Hi, thank you all for coming to join me for this segment of Global Partnership Day. My name is Tara Thomas, and I am the Director of Insights and Analytics here at Partnerize. I'm really excited to tell you guys about trends that we're seeing in affiliate marketing over the past 12 months. We started putting this report together in April of 2020, and we realized that it was going to be really important for brands to be able to keep track of overall market trends during such a volatile and unpredictable time. And then we felt that it was imperative to keep this flow of information going so that brands and partners are able to continue to make those data-driven decisions. Going forward, this report, which has historically been released on a weekly basis, is going to be available monthly so that we can show a full year of those trends. And this data looks at about 700 US retail brands and compares their current performance to their performance in the prior year. So first, we're going to take a look at the year-to-date status of 10 verticals that we've identified within this data set. So just to give you a little background here, surging is based on revenue growth above 26%, and increasing is based on revenue between 10 and 25%. Maintaining is based on revenue growth between 0 and 10%, and declining is any sort of negative revenue growth year over year. So far this year, the gifts and flowers segment is really showing a surge in revenue year over year. Travel is still showing a decline, but it's definitely in an upward swing as the industry starts to make its comeback. And you'll see more on this as we dive into verticals in a later slide. So revenue growth over the past 12 months are all increasing. However, you'll notice that the year-over-year increase in May was just 1%. I actually see this as a very positive number because last year, as lockdowns began, industries had to innovate and lean into channels like affiliate in order to survive. So this led to massive spikes in 2020 affiliate revenue, 57% in May of 2020. So sustaining these numbers suggests increased channel utilization throughout our client base. As we take a closer look at why we are seeing revenue growth, we can understand that revenue growth is driven by three things: clicks, average order value, and conversion rate. If you multiply the three of these together, you can get an expected revenue. For much of the past 12 months, revenue growth has been largely driven by increased traffic. More recently, we see declines in clicks year over year, and this is because April last year marks when we started to see high traffic growth across the platform. Growth in this metric is difficult to maintain, and the click traffic is right-sizing again. To complement this shift, we are seeing steady increases in average order value. Conversion rates tend to fluctuate. In May, they were up slightly, which, coupled with the higher AOVs, assisted in keeping the year-over-year revenue growth for the month positive, albeit only at 1%. Now, despite a slowing in the revenue growth and traffic, we continue to see a lot of growth in spend. And that's in both variable and total commissions. So variable commissions refers to commissions associated with the sale, like a percentage of the sale, while the total commissions is going to include things like bonuses and flat fees that have also been paid out. This indicates an increased confidence in the affiliate channel as brands continue to allocate additional marketing budget to their affiliate performance. Over the past 2 years, commission rates have ranged from 5.5% to about 7%. Fluctuation is expected in commission rates as brands continue to optimize their publisher mix as well as their payouts. In May, we are seeing a significant increase year over year as budgets and subsequently commission rates in 2020 were squeezed a bit to save money in order to compensate for money lost on brick and mortar stores last year. Mobile revenue share hovers around 30 to 35%. Last year, we saw some uptick in mobile as people were locked down and using their phones for a larger percentage of the day. In May, we see a slight decline in the mobile revenue share, but I expect the overall rate to stay in that 30 to 35% range. So in this overview of the 10 retail verticals, we see the year-over-year trends of the last 5 months of performance. As we anticipated, all the way on the right, you can see a rebound happening within the travel vertical with triple-digit growth in the most recent months. The first 2 months of the year, January and February, are what are currently driving the year-to-date decline, but I expect that their year-over-year growth, they will experience year-over-year growth this year as we continue to add additional months to that view. Most of the other verticals are seeing a slowing or a decline in the past 2 months as they are being compared to spikes they experienced this time last year. I expect this trend to be fairly similar over the next few months as seasonal trending returns to those pre-COVID rates. Brands are tracking new customers more than ever as they continue to see the value in both attracting new customers and retaining existing customers. We see overall upward trends in new customer revenue share. Currently, we're tracking about 45% new customer revenue. This seems to be in the range of balance for many brands that are trying to attract and engage new customers as well as existing customers. The growth of new customer revenue intersects with brands' desires to diversify their portfolios. As you can see here, content partners are continuously driving a high proportion of new customers relative to the other publisher types. Loyalty drives the lowest percent of new customers. This is consistent with the way that loyalty publishers work. They are a great way to keep existing customers engaged and coming back for more. While it seems oftentimes that these publisher types may be working against one another, we believe they are an integral part of the affiliate marketing strategy, and a properly diversified publisher mix will set a brand up for success. Content partners have experienced high growth in revenue and spend over the past 12 months, sometimes experiencing over 100% revenue growth rates. We also see that they've been able to see continued increases in spend over the past 12 months, which shows added investment from brands into this partner type. I think that this indicates a higher confidence that brands have in the affiliate channel as they continue to invest more and push for more budget to be allocated to the affiliate channel. Starting in April of 2020, we started to see a huge spike in partners applying to the platform. This was largely due to changes in the Amazon Associates program, which had resulted in commission rate cuts for a lot of publishers there. This pushed them to find other platforms where they could maximize their reach and spend potential. Again, we are currently showing a decline in these applications. However, the overall volumes are still quite high as we continue to attract new partners. Over the past year plus, we have shifted from attracting mostly new content publishers to attracting mostly new social media publishers. This shift began with the spikes from the Amazon Associates program changes, but it has remained a consistent trend over the past year. It also shows that investments made in affiliate marketing over the past year have been expanding the reach of affiliate to even more top-of-funnel partners. So I find it interesting to look at the numbers of connections by advertisers. This particular chart is looking at the average revenue generating connections per advertiser. And you can see that while we've had those slight declines in the past 2 months, we're still growing this average number of connections. And this is important for a number of reasons. So there are 3 metrics that I like to look at here. They are the overall number of connections, the number of connections driving traffic, and the number of connections driving revenue. We've seen steady increases in each of those since January 2020, and a 43% increase in the number of revenue generating connections from January 2020 to May 2021. So to me, this is a sign that tells me that brands are actively managing portfolios and adapting to the needs of the market. And that indicates that the affiliate marketing industry is healthy and thriving as it generates value for brands and partners alike. Okay, so we're coming closer to the end of our presentation now, and we're going to look a little bit closer at some of the vertical performance for the month of May 2020 compared to May 2021. These verticals are comprised of brands that were active in both years. Okay. So last year we saw spikes in many verticals. For instance, last year there was a spike in computers and electronics as home offices and home classrooms were being set up. And now we're seeing revenues consistent with the 2019 levels for this vertical. This is a common story in many of these verticals. We are seeing a spike in clothing and apparel now, which could potentially be linked to the resurgence of travel within the US and purchasing clothing to go out in as opposed to clothes to stay home in. Gifts and flowers and home and garden have maintained their growth year over year in May. And while we see a decrease in food and drink revenue, we see that interest in the category is still comparatively high. Sports and fitness saw spikes last year when gyms closed and as people set up their own home gyms. But now that those gyms are opening back up again, we're seeing this vertical return to some of those pre-pandemic levels as well. Travel obviously had huge declines last year, so it is very encouraging to see this rebound for the travel category. In May, they were up 62% in gross revenue year over year. I expect to see this trend continue over the next several months. Thank you all so much for attending this session. The Affiliate Marketing Index is released monthly, and the next installment will be available in early July. If you'd like to download this version, you can use the QR code located on the next slide. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.